Okay, so in last class, what we did, I think we were doing some for loops, if I'm correct, right? So we studied for loops and how for loop works. Basically, we did that. We also studied break statement, continuous statement, how to use for loop. Okay, so next kind of loop that we are using is your while loop. Next type of loop that we are going to cover today is your while loop. And when it is used, normally when we want the loop to execute till a condition is true. Okay, when we need some fixed number of times, we do have an option of going to the for loop. And when we want to run the loop till a particular condition is true, we can go with the while loop. Okay, and very simple syntax of the while loop is simple. While, just put while, give some space, put your condition. And again, the condition should give you the Boolean output, either true or false. Put colon, and then you can put your statements, whatever statements you want, statement 1, statement 2, whichever you want to execute. Okay, now let us take a simple example. Okay, suppose I'm taking a variable known as number. Okay, and the number is, let's say, 100. Okay, I take a variable, initial variable to be 100. Now I'm trying to write a while loop. Okay, what I'm trying to do, I'm writing while taking the same variable which has been defined earlier. Okay, you cannot take a new variable here, otherwise your while loop will show error. It will not be able to get what the value of that variable will be coming from here. So you have to initialize that variable. So I'm doing that. That's why I've initialized the variable in the beginning, number equals to 100. Then I'm writing while number is greater than 0. Let's say 0. Colon. The condition has been put it there. Now, what I want to do, suppose I want to print this number only for now. Okay, I want to print this number. If I run this program, okay, so what will happen? We will stuck in infinite loop, because what is happening? We define number here as 100. Here we define number greater than 0. Okay, and we are not making any changes to this number, so it will always remain 100. So this condition is always going to be true, always going to be true. So what will happen? You will keep printing number, infinite number of times, and if I keep running, my resources will exhaust. So if you have to ensure that you don't run into the infinite loop, you have to ensure that you don't run into the infinite loop. For the same purpose, you have to deal with this number properly. So suppose what I am doing, I'm mentioning as number equals to, let's say, number divided by 2. You can do anything. Suppose decrement by something, anything. You can, of course, in this case, you cannot increment. So only option for you is to decrement. You can keep subtracting it one by one. It's up to you. Or suppose I use divided by 2. And that too, I use, suppose, integer division. Like this. Okay. Now no problem will be there. So if I run this loop, what will available? First of all, number will be 100. So first condition will be checked. Number is greater than 100. Yes, it is true. It will print my number. So in first case, 100 will be printed. After that, once it is printed, the number's new value will be number integer division by 2. So I'll get 50. Okay. So now I'll go back again and check. The number has become 50. So it will check 50 is again greater than 0. So it will print 50. Now the value of number will be updated. This time it will become 25 and so on till this number becomes less than or equal to 0. So let me run this and hope you can see that. Tell me any doubt in this, please, everyone. Please, any doubt, even a single doubt in this. If it is okay, then tell me, and I'll move ahead.
Yes, sir, no problem.
Okay. Everyone, please tell me, is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So now let us take a task. What task it is? Suppose I want to turn on a system. There is a system which I turn on. Okay. Okay, and then system will remain on till user says to shut that down. I'm repeating once again. I want to turn on a system, and this system will remain turn on till the user says shut it down. Example. In computer language, what I will do, suppose what I'm going to do, I'm asking user for a command known as shutdown or quit, whatever you want to do. Suppose they shut down or quit, whatever you want to do. So what I'm doing, say, I'm creating a empty command right now. Suppose I'm creating an empty string. Okay, that is mandatory if I'm taking the while loop this way. I'll tell you another way where declaring this is not mandatory. Second way is there. Let's answer first way. Okay, what I want till the user gives the command quit. Till the user gives the command quit, I have to keep asking him the command. I have to keep asking him the command till he gives the command quit. I repeat once again, I will keep asking the user the command till he gives the command equals to quit. Once it is quitted, I will not ask him further command. So how we can implement such scenario in while loop? Simple, very simple. While, what I'm going to ask him about the command. So command, as I'm using it to check the condition, its initial declaration is mandatory. Otherwise, while loop will fall into the dilemma. Where will I get this value? Right? So that's why I have to initialize it somewhere. So I have initialized here. I'm putting while command, see properly, not equals to command, not equals to quit. While command not equals to quit means till the command doesn't become equals to quit, keep on executing the while loop. Means keep on asking him the command. So how do we ask the command from user? Remember, we use the function known as input function. So we'll type again, we're asking him the command. So command equals to input. Okay, you can different way, whatever you want to write inside the string. For example, I'm writing something like this, space, this and this, like we normally see in our system. Like if I open my command prompt, you can see this kind of symbol. That's what I just try to show there, nothing else. Okay, so I put there, I will keep asking him the command. Once he gives the command, I want to tell him what command you have printed, like very much like we print in our systems. In our system, how do we print? We show like echo. If you work on the DOS prompt, you must be familiar with these commands. If you haven't worked at the DOS level, then you might not be familiar with them. I'm asking echo. I'll print that echo. And your command is whatever command he has entered. And what we have named that command. Okay. Means we will ask him what is the command. Whatever command he will give, I'll print echo word first and then put command. Or you can put colon here as well. Whatever you want to. If you want to put the colon, colon. Or if you want to just print what he has printed, you can just print command here as well. It's entirely up to you, the way you want. Okay. Now, once it is done, we have taken the command from him. We have shown him what is the command. What we have to do? Anybody? Is it sufficient or something else has to be done? You got a question. What the question is? What are the requirement is? We will ask user to enter the command till he gives the command equals to quit. Once he gives the command equal to quit, I will get out of the loop, while loop, immediately.
So one more command input
Why? Why?
for quit.
No. Why you are asking here? You are asking here, na? Here we will enter the quit. Immediately the command will become quit only. How it will going to run? First of all, it will see the command here beginning at the beginning is a blank string, right? A blank string. So it will compare here. My command is blank string. It is not equal to quit. Yes, this condition is true. I'll go to this line and I'll ask him, please enter your input, whatever input he will enter after this line. Okay, after this line he will enter, or you can put here as well. Enter the command if you want. Okay. Okay, enter the command. Here he will enter the command. Whatever command he will enter, it will be stored in the command variable. right or wrong? It will be stored in the command variable. We are going to print it. So new value of the command variable will be whatever he has entered. Whatever he has entered, that will be a command variable. Again, what will happen? Now, this command variable will be checked again with the quit. If it is not equal to that, again, we'll go to the while loop, ask him to enter the command. He will enter the command. Again, we'll print the command. Now, whatever he has entered, we will compare here with the quit. Once this matches this condition, we are not going to enter inside the loop. We are not going to enter the inside loop. We can even print here. What we can print? For example, here, print. Once the while loop is completed, right? We want to print, example, hey, you asked me to shut down your system. Okay, you asked me to shut down your system. So I am shutting it down. That's it. Okay, remember, if I put it here, can anybody tell me what will happen? If I put it here, what will happen?
Sir, it will simply
In
print it out.
every iteration, it will be printed out. In every iteration, because it is in the while loop only. So whenever while loop is executing, this will print it out. And we want it to be executed when we are out of the while loop. That's why I have to come out of the while loop. Okay, I'm coming here and I'm running the cell. Okay, let's check. Enter the command. Suppose I enter any command, let's say on or something, nothing is going to happen. It will again ask me the command echo. See what he displayed. Whatever we said echo. So echo is there. And what command we gave? We gave on. So on is coming here, right? This on is going to be compared with the quit, not equal. That's why he asked me again. Again, he asked me. Suppose I put keep working. As it is not equal to quit, again, he will ask me the command. The moment I put quit, the moment I will put quit, you can see till I'm inside the while loop, this is still star. Somebody asked me also, so I although explained yesterday as well, you can check it. It's still star. Star means it is currently under execution. It is currently under execution, and when it is currently under execution, it will keep showing star. Okay, so I am putting quit. So this time, anybody tell me what will happen if I put quit here? What is going to happen?
It will print the second line.
First, it will come out of the while loop, right or wrong? First of all, it will come out of the while loop, and then it will print, hey, you asked me to shut down your system. Let me do that. Can you see that? The while loop has been stopped now, and you get, hey, you asked me to shut down your system, so I am shutting it down. See properly, and if you're having any doubt in this, please tell me, everyone. Please.
Sir,
Yeah, please.
sir, please explain first two lines, command and while command.
While command, simple. Actually, command is just, I used a variable. This is a variable.
No.
Okay, so understand first of all.
The string we use.
Pardon?
Actually, they come after the command. We use that only under strings.
I'm not able to get what you mean to say. Can you repeat once again?
Yes, sir. Please explain command instruction, and after that while command instruction.
Okay, fine, perfectly fine. Actually, they see, first of all, what is our requirement? Our requirement is we want to ask user. Okay, when you will say shut down, then only I will do shut down, or whenever you will say quit, only I will then quit the system. Okay, it may be anything, it may be anything whatsoever. Suppose here I may give a command under the while loop to turn on your AC. Understand that way? Okay, have you used your AC? There is a remote available. When we press on, our AC gets turned on, right or wrong? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Until we say it off by pressing the button, right or wrong? Again, right? So means we can do anything depending upon the user input. That's what we want. So what we are planning here, we are planning that we are going to ask user as it's the machine only. We are taking a command from a human. That's why I've used the word command. You may root any, you may write any name variable, doesn't matter. You may put X, you may put Y for the command, doesn't matter. So whatever task is, we want to ask the user, what we want to ask the user, that give your input. I will keep asking you the input until you say quit. When you will say quit, I will get out of the while loop. I will not ask you anything further. Get my task? I will keep asking you for the input until you say I quit or quit. Okay. For the same purpose, what I did, I used a variable which I will take from user. So here I'm taking something from the user. Input, enter the command, and I'm storing that in the command variable. Right? So name is command. So what is same name I used here for the initial purpose? Suppose I initialize it with the empty string. It's an empty string right now. Nothing else. Nothing is there. Okay. I'm comparing here. Putting something else makes no sense, right or wrong? If I put hello or something, what do you mean by that? Nothing. Means we haven't taken any input from the user, so how can we decide what he will input? That's why I put empty string. That is the only reason. Only empty
Yes, sir.
string, right?
That's my question.
Is it fine?
Yes, sir. That's my question. Why we use empty string?
Now it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Makes no sense. Now, why we should put anything when we haven't asked anything from the user? How can we say he will say this way? That's where we have taken just initially. Anything means we cannot guess what he will say. So I'll say let it put an empty string. We don't know what user will say. That's why I put empty string. And once it is empty string, we use the while loop and we'll try to compare the command that is going to come from the user with the command that we are expecting. We're expecting him to enter quit. And
Quit.
until he enters the quit, I will stay in the loop. I will keep him asking. That's why I put not equals to. Right or wrong? Until the command becomes equal to quit. Until the command becomes equal to quit. Command not equal to quit means whenever my command will not be same as quit, then I will keep asking what is written inside the while loop. Now it is clear.
Sir, why we use exclamatory mark there?
No,
Because,
that is actually, that is not equal to sign. See,
okay.
this is equal to sign.
Yes,
We are
yes.
okay, and this is not equal to sign.
Okay, sir.
Got it?
If yes, sir, got it.
Yeah, that's the main reason. We actually made it that way. Until he says quit. Remember the condition, until he says quit. That's why not equal to has been used.
Not equal. Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir, got it.
If I remove this, see, if I remove this and put equal sign, then what will happen? Initial command is empty. Command equal to quit condition will fail or not? Empty
Yes, sir.
equal fail. So we will not enter the inside the while loop. So why will we ask him to enter? If you want him to ask in the enter, we have to make this condition true. And how can we make this condition true? Instead of equal to, make it not equal.
Not
I hope it is clear with everyone now. Please tell me. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now one more thing. That the problem that I think Harris it was, who was asking the question.
Yes, sir. Me, Yogesh Patil.
Okay, Yogesh. Is it clear, Yogesh? Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's solve this problem. Why we want to enter this thing? Empty string, it created a confusion for me. So we have a solution for the same. Again, that is known as infinity loop, infinite loops. So we will take the help of infinite loop to solve our problem. How? See, I will type while. We necessarily want while loop to run, right? We necessarily want while loop to run so that the user may enter his command. So I'm putting here true. True is always true, right? Just put true after the while. So what will happen? This while loop is always going to be executed. This while loop is always going to be executed, is never going to be terminated. But we should know as a Python developer, whenever our condition is satisfied, I have to terminate it. And we know that. We have studied already the break condition. Remember? Yesterday we studied the break condition. Why? To force us to get out of the loop. So we know that. So don't worry. Put me inside the infinity loop. I know how to come out of the infinity because I'm a Python developer. I know how to program that. I know, doesn't matter. Put me everywhere. I know where to survive. Right? So I put a true condition here so that this while loop will always run. I put a colon here. What is the benefit of that? You don't have to initialize this kind of thing here, right or wrong? You don't have to initialize anywhere, right? So I mentioned true. That means all the time this condition is going to be true, means always this loop is going to run. Okay. So what I did, I put while true. Same way, I asked him the command, please enter. Same command equals to, let me copy and paste it till here. Is it fine? He will enter. Now remember, we want to get out of the loop once he enter the quit command. So how can we implement that? Now we know how to check the condition. We are not checking the condition in the while loop, but we know there are different syntaxes or different commands which can check the condition. Any condition can you name which checks the condition is equal to or not?
If.
Yes, very good. Yes, there is a if condition. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to type if command equal to quit. A command equal quit means he has successfully entered that thing. What I need to do, tell me. I put a colon. Remember, I have to put, if I'm using if, I have to put a colon and press enter. Tell me, what should I do? Should I keep continuing the loop or should I come out?
Break.
Yes, very good. Done.
No.
Yes. Come out of the loop. Just put break there. And your problem is solved. Let me run this. Okay. Enter the command. He's asking me to enter the command. Let me enter something useless. 789. He's again asking me to enter the command. I am putting type. No. He's again asking me to enter the command till I'll keep typing wrong. He will keep asking me the command, right? When I enter it correctly, quit. What will happen? It will throw me out of the loop immediately. Can you check? The loop has been stopped. So you have two methods of doing that. Whatever method you recommend that you can do. It's entirely up to you how you are going to use that. By using this method, initializing a variable at the beginning, or you don't want to initialize the variable, use this method. It's entirely your choice. I personally prefer this one. It's entirely your choice. Whatever method you recommend to use. It's entirely up to you. You like to use. If you want to use initialize variable method, or if you want to use infinite loop methods, entirely your choice. Again, I'm repeating. Tell me, in both the cases, any doubt whatsoever, even 1% doubt to anyone?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, what you told about that echo command, which you told, echo in DOS mode, I didn't
Nothing.
understand.
Actually, if you have used that, whenever our internet connection goes, we do ping something, remember?
Yes, sir. For
Okay.
seeing the
That-
speed of
Yeah, you must have seen there, they should echo.
ping
Echo,
1, 2.
yeah, echo is returning or not. So that's why we just trying to pretend it's visible like system. That's it. Nothing like that.
Oh,
Okay. We're
okay,
just,
sir. Okay.
just trying to pretend that way. Nothing is special.
Okay, sir.
Because I've tapped it as a string only, no? So it doesn't matter.
Yes, sir. No, I want to know that what is echo in DOS. That's what I asked.
Okay. Now you got an idea, hopefully.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Anyone else, please? Any doubt? Even 1% doubt? Because trust me, loops are the most important part of your programming journey. Most important part.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, while we are printing quit in the inbox or in the input,
Pardon?
sir, when we are printing, when we are inputting quit in the input box,
Yeah,
it still prints echo quit.
yeah.
Why it should come out of the loop
No,
before?
no. Listen. Printing is before break statement. Check. Where is
Yes,
the print
sir.
statement? Print statement is before checking, right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's why it is printing. If we replace the position of these two, if we replace C, then every time this will not be printed. Don't worry. If I do this and here I do this thing. Okay. Now if I enter quit, this will not be printed because it is coming inside the if condition. Okay, so I'm running it now. Every time till the quit comes, nothing will be printed for sure. It will keep me asking. See, I'm typing 1, 2, 3. Nothing is printed because I've changed the position where print is. Print is inside the statement. So this is going to be print only and only when command is equal to quit. Is it fine, everyone? Especially the person who is asking.
Sir, in the first one also, can you explain it?
Where?
The first one, the first method, sir. In first method.
Should
can
I?
you explain?
Okay, don't worry. Should I put it back where it was actually?
No, sir. No, sir. I am talking
No, no.
about the first.
No, that
first
I'm going to that. Should I put it back where it was originally? I'm asking that from you.
Sir, I am not talking about this one.
No,
Actually-
actually I placed it here. So I'm asking you, can I put it back here? That's what I was asking. Nothing
No,
else.
sir,
Okay.
he say that in while loop.
Sir,
No,
while-
I'm coming.
Yes,
Just a
sir.
second. I'm good. Just a second. Let me put enter. Okay. So you are talking about this thing, right?
Yes, sir.
See the proper instruction. Read the actually remember Python is a sequential code. First of all, it's a sequential code. Everything happens in sequence. Everything happens in a sequence. Okay. So first of all, what will happen? See, read the instruction properly. First of all, command will be having an empty string, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is happening? Whatever command value is, while we'll compare this command value with the quit. Okay. If these are not equal, as it is the case right now, these are not equal. This is empty string. This is quit. So this
Yes, sir.
condition is going to be true or not? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Right? When it is true, I will enter inside the while loop. I will enter inside the while loop. I will ask user, please enter the command. Once he enters the command, I'm printing that command, whatever he's entering. Right? Once he has entered, after printing, we will go back. These are the only two instruction part of the while loop. After printing, we will go back. Whatever is entered has become the new value of the command. Whatever he has entered here has become the new value of the command, and that will be compared with the quit. If these are not equal, again, this condition is satisfied. I will again enter inside the while loop and ask user to enter the command. Once he enters the command, I will print whatever he has entered. Once he has entered again, suppose he entered the quit will be printed for sure. And checking is going to happen after that. So once he entered the command, first of all, that will be printed. Then we are checking it for the next iteration.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Any doubt? Anybody else, please? It's good you are learning, but you are asking the doubt. That's very good. Others, please. Any doubt?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, instead of taking empty string,
Yeah.
can we take the command input outside the while loop?
Then if you are asking for first time, if you're asking for the first time,
Yes.
no, you can do anything, doesn't matter. It's up to you. You can do anything. But if you want to check the condition, then you have to put that inside the here as well. It is mandatory to be here, right or wrong? Otherwise, once you enter the inside the loop, it is going to stay inside the loop. So you have to put everything, whatever user you want to check the input. What was the objective? Remember, what was our objective? Our objective was to ask the user to enter the command quit. That's it. Until he enters the command quit, we have to keep him asking. If I just declare that at the beginning here, only once, and don't here, so command is always going to be stationary one time. It is not going to ask again. Let me put that. Don't worry. It is not going to do that. Let me show you that. Let me remove this, or better of removing, let me put it as a comment. Okay. And I'm asking here, input. It is going to ask only once because it is outside the while loop. It is outside the while loop. Okay. That's fine. Again, while loop will run, but it will not ask you any command. Please enter the command. Okay, that's it. Let me run this. It's asking me because first this is coming. Let me put anything. Let me put 1, 2, 3. My while loop will keep running. Okay, and it will printing 1, 2, 3. Keep printing 1, 2, 3. Keep printing 1, 2, 3 because we have just removed this, and this is outside the command. This command is outside the while. Remember, so it is not part of the loop, so it will not ask again. So it will keep printing that. Let me enter. See, please.
Yes, sir.
Got the concept clear? Everything, please tell me.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So now it is freeze. Can anybody tell me how can I get it out?
Interrupt.
Interrupt.
Yeah.
Interrupt.
Very good. I have to go here and interrupt the cell. Interrupt it. Okay. So can I remove this? As it is
Yes,
dangerous.
sir.
Okay. So I'm putting quotes here and removing the hash from here, running it again. Let me enter anything 1, 2, 3. It will ask me again till I enter quit. Suppose I enter quit. It will come out of the loop and print, hey, you asked me to shut down. That's good. You are asking the doubt. That means you are at least learning. That's the way I like interactivity. But I think 5 to 6 people are asking only. Rest are muted in the muted section. Is it two ways? These are either I'm not able to explain them or they are sleeping, or they have understood. Then it's very good. What should I say? Is it clear with everyone or not? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Sir, how
Yes,
did
sir.
you,
It's clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, somebody asking something. Please.
sir, how did you maximize the input box?
Which one, beta?
The input box you just showed, the echo 1 to 1 to 2. It was just repeating, no? How did you open the input box?
Which input box?
When we give a command, then
Means how? I didn't get you. What? How? What are you asking me to open?
sir, you have showed
In cell
the
in cell 6 or
recurring
cell
number.
in cell 6. Acha. Okay. Actually, earlier what was happening, beta? Ki this command, instead of inside the while loop, she asked me to enter it this way, outside the while loop. Okay, she asked me to enter this inside the while loop. So while it is outside the while loop, it is going to ask me only once. It is going to ask me only once if I make it comment. If I want something to ask again and again and again, then what we have to do? We have to use, of course, a loop. Okay, I have to use the loop, or other ways there. Other ways there. Keep printing this command. Keep putting it maximum a number of times like this. Take this command, copy it. Sorry, I entered 3 times. It will ask me 3 times. See, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Whatever I want to type, I can do. After 3 times is over, it will go. Okay, so I put it 3 times. So when I am fixed, I want to ask him 3 times only. Either I can do this way, or I can do either for loop by running my loop 3 times. So I can put, instead of typing this 3 times, what I can do, same thing with the for loop as well. I will ask him 3 times. So what I will do, for suppose say attempt, whatever variable name I want to give, I can give in range, and the number is, let's say 3, because you want to print 3 times. Ask him the command. Let me put 4 white spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, see, it will do the same thing. Let me run it. Enter the command first time. Okay, second time. Okay, it will ask me last time. This is the last time. Next time it won't. Right now, suppose I want the same thing. Same thing I want with the help of while loop, only 3 times. So how can I do that? I initialize a variable, or yeah, let me initialize a variable. Let's say I, or attempt. Let's say attempt equals to 3. I put while attempt is equal to 0, 3 to 1. Attempt is equal to 0, or while attempt is not equal to 0. That is better. Not equal to 0, or you can do this way also, while attempt is greater than 0. It's up to you, whatever way you want. Attempt is greater than 0. What I want same command. After that, every time I'm asking the command, I have to decrease that. So I make it attempt equals to attempt minus 1. Now let's run it. First time it is coming 1, 2, 3. Second time it is coming 1, 2, 3. Third time it is coming 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 3. Whatever I want to enter, it's up to me. See, it stopped. Same thing you can implement multiple way. You should know how to use them effectively. And key to become a successful programmer is to practice and put everything in your arsenal. You are ready with everything. Somebody throw me, okay, this task, I don't want this way. Can you tell me how can I do the other way? You should be ready for that. And that is only possible with the practice. You need not to be intelligent. Trust me. You need not to be intelligent. You just need a good practice. That's it. Same thing we did 3 ways, remember or not? Same thing we did 3 different ways. Now, is it clear what was happening, beta? You were asking how I bring that back?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I just removed, I put a empty, sorry, what I did, I just moved a empty string here, removed command from here and just run this and it came back. It will ask me, keep asking 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 5 until I press quit. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it fine, everyone? So you will be able to use both the methods of the while loop, normal way as well as infinite loop way. If you're having any doubt, ask me. I will repeat once again. I don't have any problem. My motto is your satisfaction, because you are devoting your time to me. And when you are devoting your time to me, I should be more than honest towards my duties. So I don't mind explaining again and again and again. Don't worry till you are satisfied. Please, beta, can you remove this? Don't do this. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but somebody is saying something.
No problem. No doubt, sir. Clear.
Okay, great. So should I move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's great. The same way the break has been used, right? Break is used for same way. Use in the file in the for loop as well to come out of the loop early or when my condition is satisfied. And now you will tell me when I want to skip one iteration, current iteration only. When I want to skip current iteration, then what should I use?
Continue.
Continue.
Yes, same way you can use continue here. Instead of break means whenever you want to skip any iteration, particular iteration, you can use continue. And same way again with the while you can use else condition. We use, remember, with the for we use while else condition. Same way with the while we can use else condition. Let's see. Let me take this one. Anything or which one easier one? Let me take so that you can understand things better. Let me take it. Okay. I'm pasting it. Number to be 100. I'm printing the number. I'm integer dividing the number, and I'm saying that. Okay. And I'm saying that if number equals 25, break means the moment number becomes equal 25, get out of the while loop. And after that, you can put here else condition. Else means you can say whatever you want to do, For example, I want to print something here and I want to print, hey, all the chances are gone and you don't got success. Example. Same way we use the for loop means what will happen? Whenever your number will become equals to 25, you will get out of the while loop. Okay. Until, understand. And now what happens? You are out of the while loop, but your break has not been executed. Your break has not been executed means all your things have already used. Whatever number of times you want to decrease it, they have been used. Okay. But break doesn't come into the picture, means you didn't force the early exit of the loop or unnatural exit of the loop. If break statement won't execute, only then, and all your iterations are over of the while, only then this else statement will execute. Remember that thing. Okay. And if your break statement is executed, no way your else statement will be executed. Okay, let's play a game. Let's play a game. Suppose we want to design a game like we did in the for loop as well. We want to give a user 3 chances, okay, of guessing a password again. This time using while loop, not the for loop. If he gets success in the 3 attempts, means any of the attempt, I don't have to ask him the password again. I have to ask him for the guessing the password. Okay, initial he will be guessing the password. If he gets the password correctly within 3 attempts, then I will get out of the loop immediately. Suppose he gets the password in the first attempt only, I will get out of the loop. Okay, if didn't get the success in the first attempt, I will give him second chance. If he get the success, get out the loop. If he didn't get the success in the second attempt, I will give him third chance. If he succeed, get out of the loop. Even if it didn't get success, get out of the loop. Only 3 attempts are to be given. But how he is coming out means if he's coming out through success, either in first, second, or third, then nothing needs to be printed. But if he's coming out, I'm repeating again, if he's coming out of the all the chances that are given to him, he didn't get succeed in that. He didn't get succeed in that. He came out of the loop forcefully, means all the attempts were wasted. Then we have to print him, your 3 attempts are wasted. Please try some other day. Task is clear. What is to be done?
Plus, please repeat again.
I'm repeating again. We are playing a guess game. Okay. I'm repeating again the task. We are playing a guess game in which we will give the user 3 chances to guess my password. Is it fine? If he get the success in any of the 3 attempts, let's say we will say, hey, you won. Okay, that's it. Nothing needs to be done. But and if he succeeds, get the success in the first attempt, I don't have to ask him again that please enter, because he has succeeded in the first attempt only. But if he didn't get the success, I have to give him 2 more chances. That is total in all 3 chances we have to give him. But if he fails in all 3 attempts, then we have to print the message, you failed in all 3 attempts, please try some other day. Now task is clear.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So how can we do that, please? Using while loop. For loop we have done already yesterday. If you can see your for loop, this is the thing. Remember, same thing we did yesterday. Same thing with the help of for else loop. But this time we want to do with the help of while. Can you do it?
Sir, we have to take a variable for the chances.
It's up to you. Your wish. You can do. Suppose, what should I check? Variable. Okay, variable. Let's say I'm declaring attempts. Fine.
Okay, sir.
So I'm giving it 3. Is it fine?
Yes,
First
sir.
thing. Done. Perfect. Next for the next tell.
While 2.
My password. Where is my password? Right. So let me say password is PWD. Okay. And let's say password is 123.987 ABC. Is it okay? 2 things done. Now tell me what to do. Please.
While.
While. Very good. While.
Attempts not equal to 0.
Attempts not equal to 0, or we can say greater than 0.
Yes, sir.
Right? Greater than 0. Colon. Now we have to do what we have to do. Remember, we have to
Input.
ask him.
Yes.
Right? So I'm putting guess. Input.
Input.
Enter your guess.
Password.
Password or guess, whatever you guess is. Okay. Enter your guess. Colon, and I put there. Suppose just like this. I'm making it look beautiful. That's it. Okay. Done. Now we can do one thing. How can we do that? Now tell me further.
Attempts is equal to attempts minus 1.
attempts equals to attempts minus 1. Okay, let's do that. Attempts equal to attempts minus 1. Now, next. Come on.
If
Condition checking.
Yes, if condition check. If
guess
guess
is
equal
equals
what?
to right,
PWD.
PWD.
Then what we have to do?
Print success.
Yes, yes.
Yes, we have to first print. Hey, you got the success.
Success.
And after that,
Break.
Take.
yes, break. Very good.
And with that else.
And then where will be the else come? Remember, in the same indentation as the while. Come, while.
Out of the while.
Yes, now we are in the while else condition. We can print what? Hey, all 3 chances are over. Please try next time. Is it fine? I hope everyone will be agreeing with the code.
Yes, sir.
So,
Okay. So let me run this. And let me enter my guess. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 7. Okay. First attempt, wrong. Second attempt, intentionally I'm doing wrong. Third attempt, I'm also doing intentionally wrong. He should not ask me after that. 8, 5, 6, 7. And if he's not asking me, he should throw me the error. Means all 3 chances are over. Please try next time. Yeah, perfectly. Till this point, perfect. Right? Now move ahead and again run this cell. And again run this cell. Intentionally in the first attempt, enter wrong password. In second attempt, enter correct password. 1, 2, 3, 9, 8, 7, ABC. Okay. He should print me, hey, you got the success. And further, he should not ask me anything. Right? So let me enter that. Done. Is it clear, everyone? Please. If you have, most of the people have tell me what to do. Trust me, you are now master of while loop and for loop for sure. Okay. Studying only syntax never does good for us. What good does good for us? When we try to solve some problem. Okay. Always create a case study of something. Okay. Let's make it a game. Let's try to do something. And then when we try to implement that thing, not automatically things come to in our way. I hope it is okay with everyone.
Sir, why we use attempts minus 1?
Actually, what will happen, beta, if we didn't reduce this variable, it is always 3, right? Attempt is 3. If we are not going to do this, then what will happen? Attempt will all the value of attempt variable always remain 3. So here, attempt will always be put at 3 always. So 3 is greater than 0. This condition will be always true. So it will keep me asking that. Let me do that. He will keep me asking that. Let me run this. See, 1, 2, 3, first attempt, second attempt, third attempt, fourth attempt, sixth attempt, seventh attempt. It is never going to stop. Never ever, because we didn't terminate our loop properly. So for that, what we have to do, we have to ensure that, remember what was our requirement? We have to give only 3 attempts. We have to give only 3 attempts. So after first attempt, decrease the count. After second attempt, decrease the count. Right? After third attempt, decrease the count and see whatever value. So if I use this, let me interrupt it. Yeah. So see, if I use this, then what will happen? It will check attempt is 3. So 3 is greater than 0, condition is true. It will ask me first time. And immediately after asking me first time, it will decrease the value of attempt. Now attempt will be 3 minus 1, that is 2. Okay.
Okay, now got it.
Got it? Thanks. Good. That's great. Hope it is clear.
Yes, sir. Now clear.
Okay, fine. 987 ABC. Otherwise, but it just keep staying in the infinity loop. Keep
Yes,
asking
sir,
me.
right.
Keep asking me, right? So what happened? Let me run it again. Enter your guess. 1, 2, 3, 987. ABC. Great. Now we are done. So let's move further. Okay, and to most important part, which I consider. And if you go to the interview, they will judge you by this, what we are going to learn. You have the capability to write functions or not. Remember that. In the interviews, you will be, if it is application oriented interview, means you have to design applications. They will be judging you by your capability of writing functions, because functions are so much useful. How much useful it is, why we use function. Remember, what is the definition of the functions? Functions are nothing but a piece of code or a group of instructions. Functions are nothing but a group of instructions which are used to perform a specific task. Suppose your program, you made a program somewhere. Let's say you made a program of addition. Okay. If you are from electronics background or any background, doesn't matter. But every system does have an ALU, arithmetic logical unit. If you have studied in any branch of engineering, whether mechanical or civil or something, your CPU consists of ALU or not,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Every ALU consists of arithmetic logic unit, means there is some kind of circuit which is used to perform addition, for sure. Okay. So suppose I designed a processor today. And tomorrow, and in the same processor, I designed an adder circuit by writing some instructions. Those instructions are suppose 150 lines. Okay. I write instructions of 150 lines. Next time somebody asks me, yeah, design adder, but it should be a little bit different, but most of the things will be same. Or I want to use the same adder, but in different application. So one way, if he ask me, I want to use the same adder, but in different applications. So what will I do? Will I write the complete code again? People will say he's a fool man. I created yesterday a 150 lines program, and I'm writing entire same thing again, right? Or suppose in a program, same 150 lines are to be repeated 7 to 8 times. So will you do that? You will type again 150 lines, or will you put 150 lines, copy and paste? It is not a good practice. So what should you do? You should create function of your program, what it means, decide what task you want to implement. Just implement that in your code, create a function, and just call that function in your program. Just call that function in your program every time you want. Same way you can share your file with anyone. For example, remember we studied one thing, if you can recall, import pandas, SPD. Remember, if we were studying while we were uploading the things on the Google Drive. Anybody
Yes,
remember?
sir.
Right? We do that, import pandas as PD, right? And once I did that, I used PD dot something and I press tab. So see, a lot of functions are being visible here, which are available under the pandas library. A lot of function. I can also do that. You people can also do that. This is how people work. In future, you may generate a library of your own. How? Let me see. Let me open a notepad file. Okay. And in notepad file, suppose I create 3 functions. Suppose first function, the function is defined with the keyword def. Okay. First function is defined with the keyword def. So I put a def. I'll come in detail, but understand how we can get this kind of scenario, import pandas as PD. My function name, let's say I put add. Okay. Please mute yourself. I put a function name as add. And suppose okay, and suppose it needs 2 arguments from the users. Who is this here again? You need to ask user the input, means the input, the numbers which you want to add. So for those 2, I put A, comma B. Okay, 2 arguments. I put colon, and after 4 white spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, I type return A plus B. Means this function will do nothing but take A and B as from you and will add them and give you the value. A plus B, it will return the value A plus B. I created one more function, same way, def sub. Again, it will take 2 arguments, A and B. colon, enter, 4 white spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will return subtraction of a minus b. A minus b. I take one more, def. Suppose I'm creating a calculator. You can understand that way, def. And this time I write multiply, mul. It will take 2 inputs again, a and b, colon, 4 white spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. Return a multiplied by b. Okay. Now see what I'm going to do. I'm going to file, save as. Okay. First, right now I'm saving in the desk. Make it all files. And suppose I'm creating my own module. Okay. And own module name is Praveer. Praveer.py. Okay. Praveer.py I created. I made it Praveer.py. I'm saving on the desktop. Save it. Once you are done with that, go to desktop. First of all, see where this Jupyter is running. Let me check with the command pwd. Sorry, it is giving me the same file name. I did a mistake, but I remember where it is running. Don't worry, it's in the C users del. It's in the C users del. C users del it is running. This is my, you can see Anaconda, Python, everything is mentioned here. So here it is running. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to desktop, going to copy my praveer.py file, C users del, and I'm pasting it. I did that. Just remember, I keep it in the same directory where my it is available. Same way I can give this file to you. You can go where your current file directory is. You can put it there. Once you put it there, go to my Jupyter and let's see. Let me create something like this. What I am doing. Import Praveer. This was the file name. Remember everyone? File name was Praveer. And I want py automatically understand Python file. Okay. I want to give it as an alias like PS, Praveer Saxena. Okay. I want to give it alias as PS. Same way, import pandas as PD. Once I did that, run this. You'll see the beauty. Press PS because you have created the alias PS dot and press tab. You will see 3 functions that we created inside that. Remember, add, sub, and mul. Press it. Press the tab. Please check it. Can you see 3 functions or not? Please check it. Add, mul, sub. I click on the add. Okay. I put 2 values inside this. I put 2 values inside it. If you want to know what it does, just press shift and tab. This showing a function. Add AB means you have to put 2 arguments, A and B. It is mentioned here, right? So I'm putting 2 arguments. Suppose I'm putting 4 and 2. Enter this, shift plus enter. You will get the value 6. Please check it. Okay. Same way, PS dot, again tab, I want to use multiply. Again bracket, want to check what it takes argument. It takes 2 arguments, A and B. Again press 4 and 2. So multiplication of 4 and 2 will be 8. Let me run this. Please check it. PS dot mul. 4, sorry, mul we have taken already, sub. Sub we are taking 4 and 2. It should return me 2. Right? See the power of this. You can create a file of your own with the .py extension and give it to someone or keep it with yourself and import it normally as a module. And main purpose was that it has the functions. See, when I am trying to use the same functions, again, I don't have to write any code. I have to just use add, ps.add, ps.mul, sub, because I was using that alias. But remember, these are also functions. Print. What it does, everyone knows. It prints on the screen whatever you put it inside. If it is a string, it will put the string. If it's a variable, it put the value of variable, right? But how easy it is. You find printing in the Python is very easy, right or wrong? Everyone says printing in the Python is very easy. You just put it hello and it will print the hello. But actually, behind this print function, there is some code written which is not visible to us. They have made our life easy. How easy it is. You have to just call a function, print function, and it is going to do printing for us. Right? It is going to do printing for us but behind the hood, definitely somebody has created a function print to make your life easy. You have to just put the argument here and it will print that. Print is a function. You can see that. Similarly, there is a function known as, remember, type function. It returns the data type it belongs to. Suppose inside this, I type hello again. Okay, it is showing me string. Again, this is the function. And somebody has created a code behind that. Write a complete program to check, depending upon whatever input you give, it tells you it is a string or not. Very much like this. You in that add, you put 4 and 2, you are getting 6. Means, but we write a syntax there. Remember, return 4 plus 2. We mentioned there. A plus B. That's why I'm getting here. We mentioned there. A multiply by B. We mentioned there. So we write some code, but it makes our life very much easier. We can directly use them. So next time you need addition, or next time you need multiplication, you don't have to write complete piece of code. You just call that function and it will make your life easier. Now tell me, have you get an idea how function is important? Now I will design how to use the function. Is it fine? The functions,
sir.
yeah, the functions I'm writing here, these are your inbuilt functions. There are two kinds of functions in the Python, remember. There are two kinds of functions in the Python known as inbuilt functions. Like whatever we are seeing, your print, your type, these are our inbuilt functions. Okay. And second kind of functions are user defined functions that we will create just now. Two kinds of functions are there. Okay. What is function? What's the idea? A set of instructions designed to perform a specific task. I'm repeating again. A set of instructions designed to perform a specific task. For example, here this print function has been designed to print the things. Type has been designed to tell you the data type. Add was designed to do addition. Mul was designed to perform multiplication. Subtract was designed to perform the subtraction. Please tell me, is it clear till this point? Why we need a function? How the function works, we'll come to that. Don't worry about that. We'll design our own functions. Till this point, why functions are important? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, I have my path is different for that particular file. So how to change that directory?
No issue with that. No issue with that. You can, whenever you are calling that function, always remember you have to specify that path properly. Always better, whatever your code is, if you're importing that way. If you're importing using this function, it's always recommended to put your files in your same directory. But you can change that when your function itself asking for a file path. Suppose it is not asking for a file, right? Is it asking for a file right now or not?
No.
It is not asking for a file, right? So you don't have an option of changing that. So only option right now is to put in your file. But when somebody asks you like this, so for example, import pandas as PD is there. If I use like this, pd.read underscore CSV. Now, under that, you can put your path, whatever your complete path is. Whatever your complete path. For example, I pasted somewhere. Whenever I teach pandas, don't worry, I'll tell you that. Even I will teach you that files once, then I'll teach you that. But let me tell you a great idea. For example, my file is this, attendance something. So you can click here. Something. Let me click here. Okay, so I'm using that file. You will get you can click everywhere, whatever you want. You can get the file path. Okay, easily you can get the path. What is the path of that? Means if this PC, local disk E, you can easily copy that path. It's not a problem at all. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So how to run that particular program? You done about Pravir, sir. You formed a your own function in that Pravir.
Yeah.
So now I have made my function. So I have put in E drive. So now,
in that case, right now you can't change the directory. For that purpose, you have a different function, directory functions. I'll tell you that. Don't worry about that. You can access your. You have to call a module known as OS module for the same. Right now, what is happening is I'm accessing the data from my PWD. There is a module known as OS. operating system. Okay, it will let you access everything everywhere inside your system is.
Okay, okay,
Are you
sir.
getting it? It will give you the power to access anything anywhere. It will give you power to change your directories anywhere you want to make.
Okay, okay, sir. Say if I put that particular path in my environmental variable, so
Yeah.
now it will run in this
Yeah,
particular.
no, you have to go to the Jupyter. Yes, absolutely. That's one more path. You can change the path. Means where your Jupyter path will be available. If you change the path, then your Jupyter will be installed in that way. It will always take the data from that path. Means
No, no,
main. Yeah,
sir, you
please.
put now your Pravir file in the C drive, no? So now I put my that Ashik my file in the path of my file in environmental variable.
Hmm.
So if I use as now import my file name as AS, so now it will run or it will show error.
No, environment path is different. Environment path is for how the interpreter is going to be called. How your interpreter is going to be called.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
That is
Yes, sir.
environment, right? Your environment you are creating. Actually, we haven't planned deep learning for this course. Otherwise, I've told you, normally what happens is, for example, I'm working on a project, right? For one particular project requirement, we have to download certain libraries, right? And those libraries are sometimes not required for the other projects. So what we create environments. We create environment and separate environment. Within that separate environment, you can store whatever you want and you can access that. That option is also available for the same. You have to create your own environment for the same.
Okay, okay, sir. So now we can use as import OS and we can access any file from the.
Yeah, it will give you. See, let me show you. You will see that under the OS there are lots and lots of functions are there. I'll tell you that. Don't worry about that. See, change mode, change directory. Can you see that? CHDIR.
Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
Yeah, got it. There is options are there. I was not telling because these are the advanced concepts. So I don't want to make you confused right now. That's why I'm not into that. I was just telling you for now, access from that because people then stuck. And once at your starting of the programming journey, when you stuck na somewhere, means you get demotivated very easily. I don't want that thing to happen right now. Don't worry about that. There's an option. You can see that. It's option change directory.
Yes, yes, sir. Got it, sir. Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
there no issue, please. Okay, so is it idea what is functions is all about? A group of instructions designed to perform a specific task. Is it fine?
Hello, sir.
Everyone? Yeah, please.
Sir, will you please tell again that how did you means imported the functions means library which you
No,
created?
simple. It's simply I created a file. That file you show already and save with the extension .py, and I put in the same directory in which my OS is working. Sorry, in which my Jupyter is working. It is working in C users help. It is working here. Okay. So what I did, I just placed my file here. This is the file actually, where I write three functions. 1, 2, 3. Right. Even I can put some variables also. For example, I put a variable age. Let's see that age is equal to 30. It's not a part of function. And one more variable name is equal to Praveer. It will also be available there, but as an attribute. These are attributes. These are functions. Okay. So I'm saving them as it is and hope it is saved as py file only. Let me check again. Save as. It is saving as .txt. Let me get all files. Preview.py. Okay. Yes, I want to replace it. Just close it. Go here and again use import Praveer. You can use even Praveer. If you don't want to create allies, it's up to you. Even Praveer did that. Now see, earlier you were seeing only 3 functions. Now I will see 5 things. Praveer dot. Press tab. There is one more file is being created, praveer.py. Okay, let me delete that from here. It will create a problem. Let me save with another name. That will be better, I guess. Open a notepad. New. Save. Notepad. Again, I'm typing def add a comma b colon enter return a plus b. Okay. Def sub a comma b. 1 2 3 4. Return a plus b. Okay, sorry, a minus b. And I'm saving is that file. Save as. That's all files. Give the name ml batch. ML batch. Okay, yeah, ml. Give the ml.py. Okay, in the same directory. Now go here. Import ml. Sorry, what happened? Okay, I forgot to put colon there. See, it is indicating. Okay. Control S. Let me run this. Import ml is run successfully. Now, if I put ml dot and press tab, both the functions are there. You can run them. Suppose I put 3,4. It's giving me output. Same way we can use ml dot sub 4,3. Is it fine, beta? How was it? Just import them.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
It's up to you want to create the alias. It was small, so I didn't create the alias. The name was smaller here, right? So intentionally, I didn't create an alias here. It's up to you. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, can we create a function in this Jupyter notebook?
I am going to create. Don't worry. I'm going to create that one only.
Okay.
I'm going to create functions here only. Okay. So suppose how to create a functions. Now let's understand how to create the function. To create a function, first of all, you will write the keyword def. You have to write the keyword def. Okay. And suppose I am creating the function name, and when you are creating the function name, you will use the same rules that we have used for the creating the variable name. Remember that thing. For any identifier in the Python, you will use the same rules. Remember what are the rules? It can be alphabets, small or capital. It can be numbers. It can be underscore. But the name cannot be start with the number. That's it. So same rules apply for creating the function name. Okay, I'm creating greet function. And for now example, I'm not putting any argument here. So it's our optional. You want to give them depending upon your requirement. Depending entirely upon your requirement, you want to give arguments or not. Okay. For example, for now, I don't want to take input from the user. I just want to say him print after colon, enter, you will have 4 spaces under the indentation. You can type whatever you want. That will be a part of function. I want to say hello. Yeah, hi there. And then print welcome to journey of functions. Okay, just that. Whatever you want to perform, type inside this. Not only print, other things can be done. We'll come to that very shortly. Okay, so my function has been created. My function has been created. Just run this cell. It has been run. Once the function has been created, whenever you want to print these two statements, mean hi there, welcome to the journey of web. Why you don't need to write it again? Just call your greet function. Just call your greet function. And functions are always called with this brackets. Whenever I will call this function, whatever is written under the definition of function, same task it will perform. Right now, it need to just print the things, both the things. So I am running this cell and you will see the sentence. Please check it. Create the function, call the function. Create the function, call the function. Once only it need to be created, then you need to call it. Is it fine? Everyone, please tell me.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Others, please.
No
Yes,
problem.
sir.
Great, fine. Let's move ahead. Okay. Understand properly how to create the function. That is very important because I told you it is the most important part you are going to be asked in the interviews. Okay. Now what we are going to do, we are going to ask user something. We are going to ask user something. Okay. So again, I'm changing this function. I'm changing div, greet, same function name I'm taking. But this time I will be asking user some parameters. Okay. I will asking user some parameters to enter, on the basis of which a certain decision will be made. For example, I put first parameter to be first name. The user has to put first name, then he has to put last name. These two are now mandatory arguments. So when a user is calling the function, he has to enter them. He has to enter them. Okay. Put a colon there. Press enter. And there is a very good practice. Remember, there is a very good practice whenever you are defining a function. Always write a doc string. Means documentation string in which tell what this function is going to do. How do we do that? Normally we do triple quotes like this, because your explanation may go to the different lines, more than one line. Okay, so better is type in the 3 quotes and put this function is going to greet the person. That's it. It has no use. It will just show in the program, even it will not be visible. You show that when it is going to come into the picture. Okay, press enter. Now user will enter his first name and the last name while calling the function. Means when he's calling, he's not entering inside anything. Now next time he's going to calling, you have to put first name and the last name. Now what I want, beside this, I want to enter his first name, whatever he's going to enter. And here also, here not anything, I am going to put here first name and the last name. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm copying both the lines here and see what is going to happen. Okay, I want to take the first name, whatever he's going to enter. Okay, so whatever first name is going to enter will be coming as a variable. Remember, it will be coming as a variable. So for entering variable inside the string, what we do, remember, how do we do that? We can put a formatted string here. Hi there, I give a space, put quotes, and inside the quote I post first underscore name, space, quotes, last underscore name. That's it. That's it. Nothing else to be done. Already we have put a quote here, a quote here. Everything is stopped. And put a full stop here. Your function has been created. Let me show you one thing. Let me run this cell. Okay. Now, as I told you, this will not be available while you are using this function. When it is going to come into the picture. Okay. Go here and type help, and help function, which tells you about the help of any function you want to. For example, I want to know about the print. Type print. See, it tells what it does. Okay. Or you can take the help of type function, what the type function does. So indicates everything. Now suppose here I put my greet function. See what it is showing. It is immediately showing me this function needs greet first name and the last name. And this function is going to greet the person. So it is always a good practice to put your doc strings here, so that if somebody wants to see that what this function does, he or she can see that. So whatever functions have been created here, whether print or type, every person has written a doc string. That's why you are able to see what this function does. Okay. Hope you get an idea what the doc string does. Simply tells you what this function does. So whatever you want to write, you can write there. Right. Now let me use this function. So I'm using this function. So use this function. I have to call this function greet. And this time, if I run this, it will throw me an error because I have not put anything, but intentionally needed 2 mandatory arguments, but I'm not putting anything. Let me put that. Can you see that? What it is mentioning? Greet is missing 2 required positional arguments. Right or wrong? So how can we solve that? It needs first name and the last name. So suppose I'm putting first name as Praveer, and I'm not writing second thing. Again, it will throw an error. Again, it will throw an error because two mandatory arguments are there. Okay. Missing one required positional argument. Again, problem is there. Okay. So what after first argument, what should come? Second argument, which is last name. So my last name is Saxena. Now it won't throw any error and it will display me whatever I wanted. Please check it. And tell me any doubt, even a single doubt. Okay. So when I am putting these values here, these are known as arguments. These are known as arguments. And when I'm asking them here, this is an interview question. When you are creating a function, you are putting values here. These are known as parameters. And when you put the values of the parameter in your function, these are known as arguments. So interview question, difference between parameter and arguments in a function. Remember, the actual value of parameters is nothing but your arguments. Actual values of your parameters are nothing but your arguments. So what are my arguments? Arguments are Praveer and Saxena. What are the parameters? Parameters are first name and last name, and actual value of first name and last name are Praveer and Saxena. So remember, these are positional arguments. So you have to specify them properly. First name should be there at the same position. Last name should be there at the same position. Please tell me any doubt in this.
Sir, what is module?
Bit of here.
The help.
Actually, but there are different functions here. There are different functions which are available. Even modules are there in the Python. Okay, so actually this is nothing but if you will see the class, there is a thing which is known as object-oriented programming. We'll come to that. There we use the different functions, and for example, there's a function also known as __ init function, which are important for the function. Which are very important for the function. This is an initialization function. So these kind of functions, okay, whenever you are going to call, for example, this is your you are asking function on a help. For example, you see this function, we get help and greet. Okay, and we are putting here help on function greet in module underscore main. Means what is happening here? We are calling the help function, and this help function is looking for the help, means the details of that function, in which module it is going to search. The module name is __ main. Is it fine now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the only definition. Don't worry, we'll come to the object-oriented programming as well. So all these things will come into the picture. We'll see this kind of things. We create all these kind of things. I remember I told you in the beginning, in Python, everything is a what? Python in everything is object, right? Object of, yeah, in Python, everything is an object. Everything means object of some class. So oops concept will always be there.
Sir,
Yeah, please.
sir, what is the type of these parameters? I mean, can they be string or
Whatever you want to
integer
put, it's up to you. Whatever you need, whatever you need, whatever you want. It's entirely your choice. Okay, entirely your choice how you want them. For example, remember earlier I put A and B, and I gave 3 and 4 here. See?
Yes, sir.
Yet I defined in my program A and B, but I use 3 and 4 integers. Okay, and this time I'm using them as a
String.
So entirely your choice, the way you want. Tell me till this point any doubt, please, about the function. I mean, there are a lot more things are available in the functions. We have just started. We have just started. Nothing else. Do you know, means, is it comfortable how to write the syntax of the function? First of all, which keyword will come? The def keyword will come. Then what will come? The name of the function,
of
which
the
will follow the same guidelines as per the naming of the variable. Then these brackets, okay? In these brackets, putting something means putting parameter is optional. You want to put them, it's up to you. Don't want to put them means if you want to make use of something from the user, taking user, then you have to put them. If you don't want to use them, for example, you want a passive code you want to write, means just want to printing something. You don't need anything from the user, just do that. You can write any syntax here, whatever syntax you want. You can write inside this any statement that you want to perform. Any statement. We have write a print here. So actually there are two kind of functions. Let me in brief, let me tell you. There are types of functions if we talk about. There are two types of functions. Two types. One which perform a task. Okay. One type is which perform a task. Any task it perform. Okay. For example, printing something on the screen. On a screen. That's it. They're doing some task. For example, the functions that we have created so far, whatever functions we have created, they are doing some task, printing. This is first category of the functions. Second category of functions is they return a value which can be stored inside a variable. Okay, and once it can be stored inside a variable, you can use that value to be stored inside your local system, or you want to mail someone.
പേപ്പറുകൾ വായിക്കാൻ പേപ്പറുകൾ വായിച്ചെങ്കിൽ തന്നെ ഐഡിയ കിട്ടുള്ളൂ. ആ പേപ്പറുകൾ വായിച്ചിട്ട് അതിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്ത് ഈ ഒരു പേപ്പർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്.
Fine. So you can return a value which can be stored inside a variable, and once value is stored inside the variable, then you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want. You want to send it to the email or something, or you want to do something else as well. Example. Let me show you an example. Okay. Suppose the one type of function we have already seen. These are nothing but one type of functions. Just doing some task, not returning anything. Not returning means these value cannot be stored anywhere. For example, I try to do a equals to greet and put the same function here. Okay, copying same paste. I'm trying to assign this a value. Let me run this. Okay, let me check what is happening. Am I getting any value inside the A? I'm running it, but am I getting any value? No, nothing at all, because these are just printing. Okay. But let me create a function now. Let me create a function. Suppose I create a function def. Addition function name is addition. Okay. And it needs two arguments from the user. Suppose A and B. Or we can type number 1, comma number 2. Okay. And what we want to return. I repeat once again, I want to return. Return means the something which can be stored inside a variable. Okay. I want to return. What I want to return? I want to return the sum of number 1 plus number 2. And it can be used anywhere. Once it is done, you can do anything you want. Okay. So let me run this. Okay. So now what I am doing, I'm calling this function. Remember, you have used the word return. So it will return a value, which will be some of these, which you can store anywhere you want. Okay. So I'm calling this function addition. And how many arguments we need to give? Please tell me.
2.
Okay. So whatever we need, suppose I put 3 and 4. Now I can store that value. I can store that value in a variable. Let's say variable name is again A. So A equals to addition 3 and 4. Okay. So I run this. And let me check whether A is able to store something or not. Please check it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there are two kind of functions. Remember, one which performs some kind of task. They don't return anything. They don't return anything. When they will not return anything, you can't store anything. Right? Similarly, other kind of functions which returns a value, which returns some value, which can be stored inside a variable. And once a value can be stored inside a variable, you can do a lot of tasks. You can store that value inside your textbook, or you can store that value in anywhere you want. It's up to you. Entirely up to you where you want to store that. Let me show you that. I want to store inside a local text file. How can I do that? See, so what I am going to do, I'm going to use same function again. Okay. I'm going to call that function by using, suppose, value, whatever I want to put, value equals to calling this function addition. I'm calling that function, putting the value, let's say 3,4. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to store that value in a file. That file I will name, suppose, F for file. You can put whenever you want. File is equal to open. Don't worry if you find this keyword open and close alien. Don't worry about that. Open. And what I want to call, suppose there is no file, but I want to create a file. That file will be known as, suppose, ml.txt. Okay, and I want to open that file in the read mode. So I put W here. This file will be created if doesn't exist. Okay, and in the read mode. After that, I mentioned file.write, means write inside the file. And what I want to write inside the file, I want to write ml1. Let's make it ml class. That's better. ml class.txt. And I want to write inside the file whatever value has been received by this function, means the value written by this function. So file.write, I want to put it value here. Let me do one thing. Let me close this file as well. After thing is done, so file.close. That's it. Okay, so let me run this program.
Sir, file should be open in write mode. Na?
Pardon?
File should be open in read mode.
No, I want to write there. I want to write the value there. I don't want to use that in that. Must be, I made some mistake somewhere. Where is the mistake? File.write value. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me convert it into the string. Doesn't matter. When I want to store the value, then why it should be in the read mode? Getting my point? We want to save the value now. When we want to write something on the file, then why it should be in the read mode? Tell me. When I'm writing onto the copy, then it should be reading mode or write mode?
Write mode.
Yeah, that's the okay. So let me run this again. Yeah. So let me see. There should be a file known as mlclass.txt created in my home directory. Okay. And the value there should be stored as 7. Automatically should be written there. So let me go there. ML class is this. Can you see this? Automatically 7 is coming. Okay. So you can create your files. You can create your documents with the help of this, with the help of the functions which return some value. Even you can email them. If the machine learning, let's see if we found that time or not, we can see how can we send the emails with the help of Python as well. No problem with that. Tell me, is it okay, everyone? Means if you don't understand this command, just forget them. Doesn't matter. This was just to show you that the power of returning. What is the power of returning? When something is returning, you can store that in file. Even if you keep putting some numbers, you can put this function inside your loop and keep updating the elements inside your file. Later on, your file will be ready. 1,000 times, 2,000 times, every time you don't have to save, automatically everything is going to happen. That's why Python is very good for automation. Very, very good for automation. Even I received clients, trust me, I received clients who just asked me to do some automation and they pay me a good hefty amount. I work 3 hours or 4 hours, they pay me 50,000 rupees for a small amount of automation, not bigger amount of automation. So if you are good in that, there abundance. Even I have few students in my college. I have guided them and they are earning 20,000-30,000 rupees as a pocket money every month. Barely second year students they are. Pocket money is a 20,000, 30,000. Even one student got a project of 1,90,000 rupees. So that is also possible from your end also. If you just work, keep working, keep the smart work doing. That's it. And don't worry, you will stuck somewhere for sure. It's not possible that you will say I'm master in Python. Nobody is master in this Python, any language. You will stuck somewhere, don't worry. Search Stack Overflow. Search Google, you will find the solution for sure. Learn that and use that. Is it fine? So can you now, you can tell me, summarize, how many types of functions are there?
2 types,
Which one?
which are going to print something and
Not,
which
no. I repeat once again, which are going to do perform certain kind of task.
Yes,
Inbuilt function and user defined function.
Yeah, that is one category. Inbuilt functions and user defined functions. Inbuilt means which are already available in the Python library. You can directly use them. User defined functions. So these functions are user defined or inbuilt. That is
User defined.
User
defined.
defined.
These are very good, very good. And in the user defined, again, 2 categories are there. One, which performs some kind of task and don't return any value, right? And one, which returns some value. And that value can be stored in a variable, in your file, or even you can email that value to anyone. Doesn't matter. You can make a smart system like this. You are asking any user to any input. Suppose I am sitting at USA and you created a program. Whenever some user will put an input somewhere, that will be mailed to my email. That is also possible. I'll land that email into my inbox. That is also possible once something is written. Okay, so hope you get a basic idea what a function is. Now we will dive the next class more deeper. We have to understand keyword arguments, then your default arguments, then multiple arguments, then multiple keyword arguments. Then we will done with the functions. So at least one more class will be there on the function for sure. One more class, because one class is not sufficient for the function, the most important part. But I think you basically get an idea what a function can do for you. Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Basic idea is created, what a function can do for you.
Yes, sir.
And, okay, so we will create advanced functions. Don't worry about that thing at all. This is just the beginning of the function. I'm saying only 20% of the thing have been done about the functions. Only 20%. Major of the thing is remaining. Just I wanted to introduce yourself. What are the functions are? Okay. So should I stop for the day? Please tell me.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.